Meet Joe, a skilled diesel mechanic in the Atlanta area with his own shop staffed with 4 dedicated employees. He also has a fleet that includes semi-trucks and a tow truck. Joe has an incredible story to tell. We had an opportunity to sit down with him to learn about his journey, discovering the origins of his business and what it really takes to thrive in this industry. Let's dive in to his remarkable story and his keen insight. Joe, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just another day at the shop.
Man, just another day at the shop, man. I'm loving it, man. Look, we did a snippet a while back, and people have been asking about you by the thousands, man. How you feel about that?
I ain't think we were going to get that far, man. You know, this is what I do every day, but I ain't think that many people want to see or know my story, to be honest. Man, I ain't going to lie. I didn't even know if I really was going to do a part 2, because, you know, I ain't, but I like people to know my story, but I was still kind of nervous because, like I said, I'm not a camera type of person.
I know, man, and I feel truly blessed that you allowed me to do this, you know.
I wouldn't have did it for nobody else.
Man, I thank you so much, Joe. That means a lot, man. For sure. So let's get into a little bit of your background, Joe. Tell us, you know, before you became a mechanic and what led you up to, you know, going into diesel, and how did you get into it? You know, let the people know who is Joe and where'd you come from originally? You from Georgia? You know, what's your background?
I'm from Louisiana. I used to work on a lot of cars growing up. When I got ready to graduate, one of my homeboys wanted to go to diesel school in Nashville, Tennessee. First, I didn't want to do it, but I went in and changed. I went to diesel school called Nashville Diesel College. Graduated from them. Then I moved to Georgia and started working for a dealership, which is called Rush now, but it was Nally Motor Trucks. And I worked there for like 5 years, and after that, I went out on my own. I quit the dealership in like 2005, started my own business. I used to specialize in what they call like the drivetrain. That's like the transmission you're in. Then when I owned my own shop, I had to learn everything about trucks, for his engine, brakes, and all that. So I started learning, and from then on, I never looked back.
Man, wow, that's a true entrepreneurship story. And me being in the trucking space, I've always wanted to, in a sense, have my own shop too. You know, I drive, but I was thinking like, man, one day I could own my own shop. So if I wanted to get into something like that, what would be the steps? Because it seems like it looks like a really expensive startup. So.
And it really ain't really expensive. You can either start out like doing a mobile mechanic, but if you're just starting out and you really don't know, if you're gonna own a shop and don't really know everything about what you're doing, you hire people who do engines, you hire people who do drivetrains, and that way you still learning, but you got people that already know what they are doing. But it's not really expensive. What get expensive is the tools, and when you first starting out, I tell people to just start out light, like doing brakes, oil changes, and stuff like that, or learning transmission. Because when you learn stuff like that, ain't nobody can take it away from you. You can always go out and just do stuff. So I wouldn't advise nobody really who just getting into it, start messing with a lot of engines or building an engine, stuff like that, because just starting out, if you make a mistake on that, it's real costly. It can break you. I started out, like I said, when I was in dealership doing transmission reins, and I learned all about that, all the electronic side, because now mainly everything is on these trucks is electronics all the way around. So you just got to learn like that. I tell anybody else too, who really want to think about getting started, they can go to somewhere like a Penske or a Ryder, get trained for a few years, and then go out there on your own, or get under somebody that can teach you this stuff. And you know, it's fun if you like working with your hands and don't mind getting dirty. And I'm gonna just tell you, you can't really just do it for the money, because you're gonna make some good money, and you also gonna lose some money. So that's the way I look. It's just like anything else. You just don't want to wake up doing something you don't like to do. And that's what I mean. I always like working with my hand. I always was good at doing stuff like that. So.
Man, I love it. What gave you the entrepreneurship spirit and the mindset? Were your parents in business or people around you? Or
I woke up, my uncles and them had lawn service and stuff like that, and I just started working with cars. Growing up, I always like taking stuff apart, putting it back up. And then once I started in my teens doing stuff like that, working on cars, and then I left that, went to school for a diesel mechanic, and went to a dealership. I had fun at a dealership. They taught me a lot of stuff, but they started playing with my money. And when they started playing with my money, I saw like, man, well, I'm giving all these people, making these people all this much money. And then they started messing with mine. So from that day on, I just took it on faith and just went out there and started my own business. Of course, I was walking then. It was a lot easier, but I just learned what I can do. And I've been in this chair now for like 5.5 years, and I still do it.
Okay, so I see you serious about your money. So, your first year in business by yourself, how much did you make that first year?
My first year being on my own, I probably made on my own maybe about 65, 70,000 just off the bat, and then from there I average a little over 120, 130 with me and two other guys, and not doing a lot of hard work. And, had my ups and downs doing that. And now it fluctuates so much, so now you can make easy $300,000, $400,000, depending how much you do. Me now, I done cut back on doing a lot of that stuff since I'm in a chair now, so I don't do a whole lot of more engine work like I used to. I still do a lot of transmission, clutches, and stuff like that. But I still teach a lot of people on how to do engines and how to do transmission, on young kids who want to learn this trade. So, that's basically where I'm at now.
Man, I definitely want to get more into young kids wanting to learn the trade. I think that's really cool and it's really needed, especially in a time like this. And I heard you mention it, that you were doing a lot more when you were walking. So would you be able to tell us about, the accident or what occurred?
Yeah, it happened like February the 5th, 2018. I had just got out of work and I was going to meet some of my partners at a local sports bar we always normally go to, just to grab something to eat. And we stayed there for a little while, and I went to go and get in my car, and two dudes ran up on me. And they had guns, and they told me, like, give me what you got. So I gave my money, I gave them, everything I had on me, I gave it to them, and got ready to go and get in my car. And because they caught me when the door was open. When I went to go and get in it, I guess they thought I was going to reach for a gun or whatnot, and that's what they shot me with. And they just shot me with a small caliber gun, so like a .22. So people who know guns, they know how small caliber bullets work. When it hits your body, it don't just go in and come out, it just ricochets. And the bullet went in, bounced around, and hit my spinal cord. And when I woke up, I had already went through 2 surgeries. So from there, I stayed out. I went through rehab at Grady. Then I went through rehab at North DeKalb, and then the Shepherd Center. After I got from the Shepherd Center, I went to the house. I went through therapy there. I stayed out about a year. And then I was like, man, I got to get back out here. And I hit the scene and decided me not walking, and nothing changed. I just had to change the way I do stuff. Was first I can climb on top of there or get up underneath the truck. So now I always position myself to do stuff safely without hurting myself. And I still love it. I didn't let it stop me. At one time I did, but I got a small son at that time, so he didn't know no difference. So I got up, got back into it. And then I had a big support group around me that helped me out. So, I don't regret it.
Wow, that's an amazing story, man. It was very difficult for me to listen to, what happened, man, because that's really unfortunate. And these things are very common, robberies and, accidents and stuff like that. So it's just always a blessing to pull from somebody like yourself, seeing that you went through something so deep and you're still out here strong with a spirit like you have.
And that's how it was. But like 4 months ago, man, I was just doing my normal thing, working on trucks. People see me in the wheelchair. I never pay attention to traffic and stuff that go by. And this other dude came in a wheelchair, told me to come to the gate. And I'm like, man, who you talking to? Okay, with me and my so-called brother. He's like, who you talking to? He's like, man, the guy in the wheelchair. So I went there and he was like, man, I'm just gonna tell you something. He like, I used to pass up and down this road all the time and see you in a wheelchair. And then it just so happened, some unfortunate stuff happened, and I now is in a wheelchair. And he said, man, if it wasn't for me seeing you still doing that kind of work every day passing by, I would have gave up. And me, I never thought about nothing like that. I mean, this is normal to me, but like I said, people, when you leave the house, you never know what's going to happen. So I just said, anything happen, you know, this life changing like this, you just got to keep on moving on. Don't feel sorry for yourself. So that's why that's why I'm like I am now. You know, I couldn't give up. So, you know. A lot of people don't know how I got in the wheelchair. A lot of people don't know if I was in the wheelchair to begin with. So I don't mind getting my story out there. No, but
mentally, you seem like a very strong person, and you not just seem like you are. You know, what type of advice? Because I know you just said, you know, don't feel sorry for yourself, right? What type of advice would you give to those out there, you know, with different, you know, situations going on, as far as how do you get this type of strength, you know, to, you know, what's your secret?
I don't know if it's really is a secret in it. It just, when I was brought up, it just what my family instilled in me. I like to get stuff for myself, and I, you know, I was always a hard worker at the beginning. So when all this happened, at the beginning, I did feel sorry for myself. I did want to quit. I just wanted to die. But I had to sit there and think about, you know, once she brought my son to that hospital, it changed. I just started looking at shit totally different. And I just tell people, don't give up. It's gonna be hard, adjusting the stuff. You know, you gonna lose some friends. Like I lost friends when this happened to me. But I just get up every day and thank the Lord that I'm here and do what I have to do. And that's basically, that's how I live by it. You know, people deal in different situations, and it depends how they can handle it. You know, the way what happened to me and how I handle it is totally different than somebody else and what they go through. I just tell them, you know, don't give up. You know, it's gonna be hard, but just don't give up. That's basically the only thing I can tell you. You know, if it's something you really want, just still work hard for it, and don't let them tell you can't do it.
Yeah, you're proof that you can do it. You know what I mean? That's crazy, because that's how we met. I think we met probably maybe at Global, maybe. I think I probably ran into you and and I was explaining, you know, I got a truck and I had some issues with it, man. And I remember one day it was late and my truck needed a regen. It was at 09 Cascadia. And I'm like, man, I can't go to work tomorrow. You actually came out there and helped me.
I gave you my number, but I didn't know you really were going to call. But, you know, if I feel like I can help you, I'm going to help you. And, you know, you gave me that call, and, man, if I give you my word, I'm going to do it. You know, like I said, I went out there, and I'm glad we was able to figure out the problem and get you going. But
you did. You did. You did, man.
Nothing else after that.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. So, as far as, you know, you teaching people on how to become a diesel mechanic and different things like that, you know, are you seeing a decline in interest in becoming like a diesel mechanic, or are people still, you know, is it a business that people can get into easily once they?
It's not a lot of, from what I can see on standpoint and what I read and look at study, it's not a lot of people really want to get into this work anymore. I ain't gonna say it's hard work, it's a lot of work if you dedicated in it. This is a field that you can make a lot of money. that doing brakes, doing engine, doing oil change, they can't get a robot to do none of that stuff right there. So you physically, it's always gonna be work out here. And I catch a couple of young cats that want to get into this, and I done trained them. I took them in my weeds and trained them much, the safe side, the best way to do it and the safe side to do it. And, they pick up, once I show you the right way to do it, some people figure out easier way for them. Not every one person learns stuff the same. So I'm gonna teach you the fundamentals, and you'll see I'm gonna show you different ways, and you just tell me which way is easier for you. And I can teach you how to do brakes, I can teach you how to build transmission, rear ends, I can teach you how to build engine. So if you break out and want to have trucks of your own, you can do all the work yourself. Or you can know if your truck get out there and something break down, hey, they call you, ain't nobody getting over on you. Because that's the biggest thing. And that's why I think I have so many different customers, because I get called all times of the night, all the time. People get out there, something happen, or my truck making a sound like this, or my truck doing that. And I kind of tell them what's going on with it, and just get it to the nearest shop if you can't get here. And that way I let them know if somebody get messing over you or trying to take advantage of you. Because out here, there's a lot of mechanics will, especially if they think they're only gonna see you one time, and that will get you. That will mess you up out here.
A lot of people ask this question. They say things like, what is the best truck to buy? And I always tell people, every truck has a different engine in there. Even if it's the same exact Freightliner, one could have a Cummins, one could have a Detroit. How would you answer that question to those people who want to know what to buy?
I'm going to tell you on this. My standpoint on this, I know what engines I like, and I know what engines I don't like. But I tell anybody, if you just starting out and you want a solid truck, the best truck you can get, or best type of engine you can get, will be your Detroit Series 60, hands down, or your N14 Cummins, hands down. Pre-emission. You get in them with pre-emission vehicles, you'll make yourself some money because you won't have as many breakdowns. And then, basically any shop you go to, they know how to work on those vehicles. Then when you get over, some people, depending if you're going to have to go for a company and you have to have a newer trucks, the most common truck that's going to be out there are your Cascadias with your DD15 or your DD13. But all these engines have their flaws in it, just like your, like I said, DD15, then you got your Series 60 EGR. All of them got their own flaws. But I prefer anybody to stay away from trucks that got a whole lot of emissions on it, your DEF fluid and stuff like that, because they become more headache. You can actually lose before you even make no money messing with these trucks that got emissions on it. So that's my best bet. But like I say, number one, I would say anything with Detroit Series 60. Then number two is your Cummins, and then your Caterpillars. Them engines stand the test of time. You won't really have a lot of problems out there. Pretty much any pre-emission engine, you don't have a lot of problems with. But they become more harder to find because they just don't break down like that.
I think I'm thinking about this question as you're talking, right? And I want to frame it in a way where people can really grasp of what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to think of it, but how would you encourage, or how would you inform somebody to decipher between a good mechanic and somebody who is taking advantage of them? I don't know if that's the best way to pose it, because a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to my mechanic, and sometimes they tell me what they're paying for, and I'm thinking like, man, that's expensive. So how do people know? Like, what is a good mechanic to you, and what is it?
On the good mechanics, find you a mechanic in wherever area you're in, or home state you're in. Find somebody that you can trust. Once you've got a relationship with a mechanic, and your truck break down somewhere out of that area, if somebody come in there, you can always call your mechanic for advice. So that thing, you got a lot of mechanics will take advantage of it, but if you can find you one mechanic or two mechanics that work on your truck all the time, that right there will work for you. Because if you get in a situation, if you travel out of state and it's a problem with your truck and you got to go to another shop, you can easily call your mechanic. Hey, they say this is going on with my truck. They say this is how much, or this the problem. It's going to be such and such amount to fix. Then your mechanic can say pretty much, yeah, that's a good price, or no, I don't think it's that. And you can find out between the two, if somebody trying to screw you over or not. Because a lot of mechanics, they don't think they're going to see you again. A lot of them going to charge you, and then they don't worry about if your truck break down or not again. Because especially a lot of, I ain't knocking the roadside mechanic, but y'all hear a lot of bad stories about roadside mechanics, because normally they ain't gonna see you anymore. So they're gonna get out there, do what they have to do, and then when you get your trucks fitted on the road, you don't know. Once he do whatever he gonna do, you have to pay him. And that's the thing, or risk your truck getting towed. And I've seen a lot of people that got messed over like that, but I tell you, find you a good home-based mechanic and stick with them.
Now, this is a little bit controversial, not on your part, but just in general. Cheaper trucks, right? I've encouraged people to check their local diesel mechanic shops, because in my situation, I've found that mechanics have trucks for sale sometime, because you guys are the first to know when somebody's trying to sell, because they bring it to you, and you're the last to know because they may be getting it ready for something that they want to do with it. Or you may just be in the midst of the conversation talking to one of your clients, and they say, hey, I'm thinking about selling. So
'09 model, Caterpillar engine.
and how much did you get that deal for?
I got it as steel, man. I can't even tell that over the air, man. I got it at a real good price. You wouldn't believe it. And this is a simple fact. The man that had the engine built, it went down, had it built again. They had a new transmission put in it, and then just so happened, probably about like 6 months ago, with flooding coming out of South Carolina, and it messed up again. Water went in the inside, bust up the transmission, all that, and he went up having it fixed, and he was just tired. So I bought it off his hands. He got over $30,000 in the truck, and if I could have told you what I paid for it, I don't want to make him mad, so I ain't gonna tell you exactly how much he paid for it, because he gave it to me too as a good deal, because I work on all his trucks, so I don't want to air that out how much I end up paying for that from him. but it was real reasonable. Then I got this one right here. This is 2012 Pro Star. 400 some thousand miles on it. I'm doing work to it. This one I only acquired for $10,000. Wow. I knew the guy on it. Now I'm doing some work to it myself. I'm doing a little work to it. Well, and I got another one, but he don't want to be in the film because he's working on it now, so I can't show you that one now.
No worries.
You good. So, you know, you can find trucks out here at reasonable price. Like I said, talk to your local mechanic shop, see what trucks they have there that they're willing to sell, and you can get them through there. That's one of the best ways I think you can find a truck at a reasonable price. And if you get yourself a good mechanic, they can pretty much fix what's wrong with the truck. And you know, and one thing about buying it from a shop is that they pretty much have seen that truck over and over, so they'll know what's going on with it. And then you can pay them to finish fixing it and buy it straight out, or you know, whatever will works for you. But like I said, get older trucks, you know, pre-emission trucks.
How many employees do you have?
Two, and I got two and two part-time, so 4. But now, right now, I got two full-time to be with me, plus myself. Then I got 2 part-time guys.
Okay. Total 4. Okay. Now, what's your future plans? You know, are you trying to scale up? It sounds like you got 4 guys, and you take a quite good bit of work in. So you gonna scale up and make this a multi-million-dollar operation?
Man, as of right now, I really don't know, man. To be honest, because along with my mechanic side, I got 2 trucks where I just acquired a 3rd truck. So that's this shop, 3 trucks, and I got a wrecker now. So I got my hand just in a lot of different things now. I just don't know if I want to keep on upscaling or because more people you get, more work you get, you make more money, but it's a bigger headache. So that's the only thing about it. So right now I haven't really decided because now I rent. If I start doing it on that scale, then I'm gonna have to find my own building and pay it off instead of renting days. So
awesome. And Joe, what would you like to say, to the people out there that's supporting you? I know we did a short video on you, and man, the amount of responses that we saw, I thought was crazy because I believe it may have been 200 to 300 people commenting, plus, getting thousands and thousands of views. What was it like after you did that video? Did you run into people seeing you and recognizing you? And what would you say to people who support you out there?
Man, I want to just tell people I appreciate all the love and all the positive response. I didn't think nothing about it when you did that video. I didn't think it was, I was going to have that many people interested in my story or wanting to find out more about me or get in contact with me to try to, for me to work on a video. Because I didn't think nothing like that was going to happen. Because when we did, I wasn't thinking on that standpoint. So, I just want to appreciate all the love and, that people have for me out there. And, I just appreciate it. That's pretty much all I can say on that. I appreciate the love. Like I said, I didn't expect none of this. Especially what people want to know, my story, because I wasn't thinking about none of that, when I did it. But I really appreciate all the love and positive response about it. So, I really appreciate it. Lost for words, basically.
This is Joe's story, detailing how he overcame obstacles and built a thriving business that's continuing to grow. Stay tuned for these case studies that I will be linking down below in the description. Make sure you comment, like, and follow for more.